I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at empowerourfuturecoalition.com.
What are you reaching for? If you're a smoker or vapor, you could be reaching for so much more with Zyn nicotine pouches. When you reach for Zyn, you're reaching for 10 satisfying varieties and 2 strengths for a smoke-free experience that lets you lean in, for chances to break free from your routine, and a unique nationwide community. Whatever you're reaching for, reach for it with America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Find yours in wherever nicotine products are sold near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
It's third down.
Did you see the game last night? Of course you did, because you used Instacart to do your grocery restock. Plus, you got snacks for the game, all without missing a single play. And that's on multitasking. So we're not saying that Instacart is a hack for game day, but it might be the ultimate play this football season. Enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees apply. For 3 orders in 14 days. Excludes restaurants. Instacart. We're here.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at empowerourfuturecoalition.com.
If you're a smoker or vapor, ready to make a change, you really only need one good reason. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you'll discover many good reasons. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Plus, Zyn offers a robust rewards program. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to the Whispering Woods After Dark. Now this weekend, or Wednesday, Thursday for patrons and Apple subscribers, we're doing something a little different. So we're going to take a look at some rituals, online rituals. Well, they're not done online, but that's where they come from. And they are really quite spooky, so bear with me. I'll get straight into the first one. Are you ready for the story? It's 3:10 a.m. The candle in your trembling hand is the only light in the house. Every other room lies in darkness. You inch down the hallway, heart pounding, wax dripping between your fingers. The air suddenly turns cold. Your breath catches as a draft sweeps past. Somewhere in the blackness behind you, a floorboard creaks. You stop, straining to listen. You hold your breath. A soft hiss, impossible to pinpoint. A voice murmuring just beyond the edge of your hearing. You spin around, lifting the feeble candle. The flame gutters, nearly extinguishing. You're sure you saw something. A tall, dark silhouette at the end of the corridor. But now there's only darkness. The candle's flame suddenly flares back to life. Empty hallway. Nothing visible. yet you feel it there, lurking just out of sight, watching, stalking, a shadow among shadows. You swallow hard and press on, silently praying to see 3:33 a.m. on your watch to end this ghastly game. But 3:33 is a lifetime away, and the darkness is blazing in. The Midnight Game, also known as summoning the Midnight Man, is described as an old pagan ritual, once used to punish those who broke the laws of the pagan religions. According to the law, it was primarily a scare tactic, a way to instill obedience through sheer terror. The legend warns there is a very real chance of death for those who attempt it, and an even higher chance of permanent psychological trauma. In plain terms, you're inviting a sinister presence into your home, and you must survive the night while it plays with you. Needless to say, it is highly recommended that you do not play the Midnight Game. But if you're one of those thrill seekers who can't resist, here are the rules and instructions you'd have to follow. Exactly. To summon the Midnight Man. You must start the ritual precisely at midnight, on the dot. You'll need a few simple items, a candle, a piece of paper, something to write with, matches or a lighter, a container of salt, a wooden door, and at least a drop of your own blood. If multiple people are playing, each person needs their own candle, paper, and blood offering. All the lights in the house must be turned off before you begin. Every source of light, except your candle, should be doused. You should be in complete darkness. Take the paper and write your full name on it. First, middle, and last. Then prick your finger, usually with a needle or pin, to squeeze out a drop of blood. Drip your blood onto your name on the paper. Let it soak in. This, they say, is your invitation. Turn off every light in your home. Total darkness is required. Place your blood-marked name paper in front of a wooden door. The door will act as the entry point for the entity. Now light your candle. Set the candle on top of the paper or hold it just above, so its flame illuminates your name. Close your eyes for a moment and get ready. You must knock on the wooden door 22 times. Not 20, not 25. Exactly 22 knocks. The timing here is crucial. The final 20-second knock must strike at the stroke of midnight. If you start knocking at 11:59, you have to pace it so that the knock 22 lands exactly as the clock chimes 12 a.m. If you're off by a second, the ritual won't work, and consider yourself lucky. If you get it right, when the last knock hits midnight, open the door, blow out your candle, and then immediately shut the door. By doing this, you have just invited the Midnight Man inside. Yes, you open the door at midnight to let him in. Right after closing the door, relight your candle immediately. From this moment on, the Midnight Man is in your house. The game is essentially a deadly hide and seek. Your goal is to avoid meeting the Midnight Man until 3:33 a.m., which is when the ritual ends. You must now wander through the dark, candle in hand, and keep moving. Standing still for too long is said to attract him. Do not turn on any lights. The only light should be your candle's flame. How do you know if the Midnight Man is nearby? According to countless reports and the ritual's lore, there are a few telltale signs. A sudden drop in temperature around you is one sign. You might also see a black humanoid figure lurking in the corner of your eye. Pure darkness, darker than dark. Or you might hear very soft whispering, umming from nowhere in particular. If any of these happen, it means he's close. And if your candle goes out on its own, that is the ultimate sign the Midnight Man is right there with you. But what do you do if the candle goes out? Well, this will be your moment of truth. Should the candle flame suddenly extinguish, you have only 10 seconds to react. Fumble for your matches or lighter and try to relight the candle immediately. If the candle relights, great, the Midnight Man backed off for now. And you can continue the game, now on high alert. If you fail to relight within 10 seconds, your last resort is to pour a circle of salt around yourself on the floor. Sit or stand inside this salt circle and do not step out of it until 3:33 a.m. The law says the Midnight Man cannot cross a line of salt. The salt is your safety zone. A coward's way out, perhaps. But it beats the alternative. What happens if you don't relight the candle in time and you're too slow to make a salt circle? In other words, what if the Midnight Man catches you? The legends are grim. The Midnight Man will supposedly use hallucinations to confront you with your worst fears, your most deeply buried personal terrors made vividly real. You'll be frozen in place, utterly helpless, as this apparition of horror plays out. And while you're paralysed by fear, the Midnight Man will attack. The ritual text says he will rip out your organs one by one, and you'll feel everything, but be unable to react. It's a brutal, medieval-sounding fate. A slow, conscious disembowelment via nightmare. Whether anyone's lived to confirm that part, we don't know. And let's hope no one ever does. If you do manage to drop into a salt circle in time, the Midnight Man will lurk around you just beyond the salt's edge, waiting. But he can't touch you, as long as you stay within the ring until the end of the game. The game concludes at 3:33 a.m. But why 3:33? That gives the Midnight Man a full 3 hours and 33 minutes of playtime. If you last until that exact time, you've won. Supposedly the Midnight Man leaves at that moment, and your house will be safe again, for now. You can turn on lights and take a breath. But even if you win, the legend has a parting jab. Even when the game is over, he will always be watching you. Throughout the ritual, there are strict rules you must obey. Do not turn on any lights during the game. Do not use a flashlight. The only acceptable light is a candle's flame. Do not fall asleep at any point before 3:33 a.m. And definitely do not provoke or taunt the Midnight Man. Essentially, you have to respect the ritual. If you break any of these rules, all bets are off, and you're at the entity's mercy. The instructions hammer home that playing this game is a bad idea. Do so at your own risk, is the mantra repeated over and over. Around the mid-2010s, the Midnight Man ritual became part of the viral 3 a.m. challenge trend on YouTube. Dozens of YouTubers filmed themselves attempting the midnight game, turning off their lights at midnight and wandering around with candles and night vision cameras for our entertainment. One reason the Midnight Man ritual has stuck around is that, real or not, it creates a genuinely scary atmosphere for the participant. You're alone or with a small group of friends in pitch darkness for 3.5 hours, forcing yourself to stay awake and alert. You're primed to jump at every noise. You start noticing subtle things. Was that the house settling or footsteps upstairs? Did the temperature just drop? Or is it your mind playing tricks? The rules give your brain a catalogue of creepy cues, whispers, shadows, cold spots. So you're constantly on edge looking for them. It's almost a form of self-hypnosis or a suggestion-induced hallucination. There are also reports of very real dangers coming from perfectly normal causes. Walking around a dark house with only a candle can, unsurprisingly, lead to accidents. That's an anecdote of one person's cousin who attempted the midnight game. He apparently stumbled in the dark and fell down a flight of stairs, injuring himself, even burning his cheek on the candle in the fall. He survived, but when asked what happened during the game, he refused to say much. All he would mutter was a warning and nothing more, as if whatever he experienced was way too disturbing to recount. Perhaps it was just embarrassment and bruises, or perhaps something truly frightened him into silence. Despite all the warnings, many people have attempted the midnight game and lived to tell the tale. Online forums like Reddit and YouTube comments and paranormal message boards are filled with stories, some clearly fabricated for fun, but others delivered with such raw fear and detail, they'll make your skin crawl. I've gathered a few of the most creepy accounts to share. As we go through them, remember, we're prioritising authenticity and genuine fear factor. These are the experiences people say they had. Whether you believe them is up to you. The midnight game in Florida. One of the most detailed and famous accounts comes from a Reddit user who posted about his midnight game experience. In the story, the narrator, we'll call him V, and his friend Ryan, decided to test the ritual in V's home in Florida. Both were self-professed skeptics looking for a thrill. They prepared the materials and started at midnight, joking to keep their nerves down. In fact, at the very start, after they let the midnight man in, Ryan couldn't resist making a goofy "ooh, ooh" ghost noise to lighten the mood, and they both laughed. For the first 45 minutes or so, nothing happened. They wandered the dark house, feeling hot summer air and building up a false sense of security. V admits they were nervous, but also a bit cocky. They even raided the kitchen for a midnight snack, chuckling in the darkness about how the so-called nightman was taking his sweet time to show. In a fateful moment of mockery, they started jokingly singing "The Nightman Cometh," a silly song from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Essentially, they were taunting the Midnight Man. That, according to V, is when things turned. Just before 1 a.m, V was checking his watch by candlelight when his candle suddenly went out on its own. His heart leapt. He hastily relit it within a few seconds. Disaster averted. Also, he thought. He exhaled and whispered, "Oh, that was close." Ryan up ahead stopped and asked in a strange tone, "What did you just say?" V repeated himself. I said, "Oh, that was close." Ryan shook his head and insisted he'd heard V whisper something else, right after the candle went out. Words that V did not actually say. They both went quiet. It dawned on them that the Midnight Man might have been right there, whispering in the moment of darkness. That realization brought a new weight of fear over the two friends. They decided to stop joking around entirely. No more singing, no more casual chatter. this was getting real. For the next half an hour, they crept through the house hyper alert. Both now truly believed there was a presence stalking them, and it didn't stay hidden for long. At about 1:25 a.m, as they passed the small bathroom in the hallway, V saw something that made his blood run cold. A figure standing in the bathtub behind the shower curtain. Just a dark shape, motionless. Their candles were still lit, which by the game's logic meant the Midnight Man wasn't supposed to be that close. But there it was. V grabbed Ryan's shirt and sped them both into the kitchen, hearts hammering, without even explaining what he saw until they were safely away. When he did, Ryan's face went pale. He had seen it too. A tall, shadowy form in the bath, slightly obscured by the curtain. At this point, Ryan wanted to quit. He asked if there was any way to stop the game early. But they knew switching on the light or trying to leave the house might only make things worse. So they pressed on, terrified, but determined to survive the next 2 hours. Shortly after, they realised a terrible oversight. In their panic, they had left their container of salt back in the bedroom, on the far side of the house. If their candles went out again, they'd have no salt at hand to protect themselves. To retrieve it, one of them would have to venture toward the area where the figure was seen. Steeling themselves, they both inched back toward the bedroom. The hallway leading there forced them to pass the bathroom again. Dee describes forcing himself to peek into the bathroom as they passed, and the figure was gone. Relieved but on edge, they got into the bedroom. The salt was sitting on a desk. Dee picked it up and immediately noticed the air felt freezing cold. In a house that had been hot all night, his stomach dropped. That's when he realised Ryan was no longer right behind him. He'd stalled in the hallway, unwilling to step into the icy room. Sensing something, V turned around toward his bed. In the darkness, he could barely make out the shape of someone sitting on the bed. A silhouette of a person that hadn't been there a second ago. As his eyes locked onto it, the figure's head gave a slight bob, a subtle movement as if he'd just noticed him too. That was enough. V bolted from the room in utter panic, sprinting back toward the kitchen. Miraculously, his candle stayed lit as he ran, but he dropped one of the 2 salt shakers in his flight. Ryan saw V's face and needed no explanation. He simply yelled, "Go, go, go," and the 2 ran back toward their safer area. Ryan's candle went out during this mad dash, but he managed to relight it just in time as he caught up with V in the kitchen. Breathing hard, the 2 regrouped. They were shaken to the core. They agreed that from now on, they'd stick to the western side of the house only, away from the bedroom and that bathroom, which seemed to be the Midnight Man's preferred area. The next 40 minutes were eerily quiet. They paced slowly around the living room, kitchen, and an adjoining large sunroom called a Florida room, keeping their candles close. V later wrote, "Even though we had a 40-minute period of absolutely nothing, there wasn't a single ounce of relief with each passing minute. Relief felt like weakness to me, and weakness felt like something the Midnight Man would see." That was the mindset. If you let your guard down for 1 second, that's when he'd strike. By around 2:45 a.m, they still had about 45 minutes to endure. V and Ryan sat side by side on a futon in the large sunroom for a moment, desperate to rest their feet. They were exhausted and terrified, but also hopeful. The night was more than half over, and they were still alive. V allowed himself to think, we might actually win this. And that is exactly when it all went to hell. He suddenly noticed the window blinds on the other side of the big room were parted, as if someone was peeking through from outside. He saw unmistakably a dark figure standing outside the glass. The Midnight Man was right there, watching them. In an instant of instinctual panic, V leapt up and ran. A split second later, crash! Something heavy slammed into him, knocking him to the floor. For a heart-stopping moment, V thought the Midnight Man himself had tackled him. He felt a sharp pain on the side of his head, but as he scrambled up, he realised the ceiling in that old sunroom had partially caved in. A chunk of plaster had fallen and struck him. The house literally fell apart at the worst possible time. Ryan, seeing V on the ground and his own candle now out again, made a snap decision. He dropped to the floor and started pouring the remaining salt in a frantic circle around them both. This was breaking one of the game's rules. Each person is supposed to have their own circle. But in the moment, survival mattered more than rules. V still had his candle lit and was outside the salt circle initially. But seeing what Ryan was doing, he dashed into the circle too and finally blew out his own candle intentionally. They sat together, two grown men on a dusty floor, enclosed by a messy ring of salt. There was nothing to do now but wait. The final stretch from 2:50 a.m. until 3:33 was, in V words, the longest 40 minutes of his life. They huddled in that salt circle, utter darkness all around beyond the little boundary of salt. At one point, V's eyes had adjusted enough to faintly see movement in the dim room. He thought he saw something shuffling near the futon where they'd been sitting moments ago. Both men experienced sudden cold chills at different times, a sign the Midnight Man was pacing around them. Then, breaking the silence, they heard a new whisper. It started softly but grew into a rapid, repetitive muttering. No, 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 a frantic chant of the word no over and over. It sounded almost like a mantra circling them. At first, V thought Ryan had lost it and was mumbling, no, 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 to himself in fear. But when he glanced at Ryan, he saw his friend deathly pale and not moving his lips at all. The whispering wasn't either of them. They endured that horrifying disembodied no, no, no for about 30 seconds, frozen in place, until it faded away into silence. After what felt like an eternity of quiet dread, V's watch finally read 3:33. They waited a few extra minutes past the time, just to be sure. By 3:40 a.m, they stood up, stiff, shaking, but alive, and dared to flip on a light switch. The lights came on. The game was over. The Midnight Man was gone. V and Ryan were safe, but safe is relative. Both of them were deeply scarred by the experience. In the days that followed, V reported having horrible nightmares of people he knew turning into ghoulish, empty-eyed corpses in front of him. He felt as if the Midnight Man had marked him. Ryan too had nightmares. He later confided that he dreamt of being drowned over and over by a dark figure, dying and resurrecting repeatedly in an endless loop. It's worth noting that particular nightmare of Ryan's eerily mirrors the supposed punishment for breaking the rules in the Midnight Game horror film. In the movie, if you fail the ritual, the Midnight Man makes you drown again and again. This Reddit account is quite hair-raising, but because of how plausible the fear feels, Two skeptics turned into believers over the course of one night. The story has become a classic. A lot of readers commented that they felt like they were there. Now, not every midnight game story is as dramatic as V and Ryan's. Some are, frankly, anticlimactic or even darkly funny in hindsight. There's a short anecdote shared by a user about a friend of theirs. Let's call her Megan. Megan tried the midnight game alone in her house, while her family was home but asleep. She followed the instructions, summoned the midnight man at the front door, and set off with her candle. Almost immediately, her candle blew out. It might have been a draft, or maybe it truly indicated the midnight man was right beside her. Either way, Megan didn't bother trying to relight it. Perhaps out of an abundance of caution or sheer panic, she just plopped down in the kitchen and poured a salt circle around herself. There she was, sitting on the kitchen floor in the dark inside her little circle of salt, effectively tapping out of the game at 12:05 a.m. And here's the thing, with nothing else to do and adrenaline fading, Megan fell asleep inside the salt circle. She literally dozed off on the floor while the midnight man supposedly wandered her house. The next thing she knew, she was waking up to daylight, well past 3:30 a.m, completely unharmed. When she told her friend about this, they had a laugh mixed with confusion. Had she been lucky, or had she unwittingly angered the midnight man by breaking one of the cardinal rules? Do not go to sleep during the midnight game is explicitly stated in the guidelines. We don't know. Nothing visibly bad happened to her. Maybe the midnight man took pity on an unintended nap. Or maybe the entity simply left her alone, seeing she wouldn't be much fun. This account, though light-hearted, underscores how unpredictable and anecdotal most of these stories are. One person is nearly scared to death for 3 hours. Another person falls asleep on the kitchen floor, and nothing whatsoever occurs. Now, as mentioned earlier, many people have filmed their midnight game attempts. While a lot of those videos are clearly produced for entertainment, with clickbait titles like "Gone Wrong, Terrifying Midnight Man Caught on Camera," a few stand out for their creators' genuine reactions. In one such video, posted by a small paranormal YouTube channel, two friends tried the ritual and actually managed to record some eerie happenings. For the first hour, their camera captured nothing but them whispering and creeping around jumpily. But around 1 a.m, the camera's audio picked up a faint whisper that neither of them seemed to react to. They likely didn't hear it at the time. Viewers later commented that they heard a breathy voice say, "Come here," or "Help." It was hard to tell. Later in the video, one of the guys explains that the door to an empty room just closed by itself off camera. They run to investigate, clearly freaked out. The footage doesn't clearly show the door moving, but it does show their honest confusion and fear. In the end, they both jump when a loud thud echoes from somewhere upstairs, at which point they declare they're ending the game and turn on the lights at about 3 a.m, technically losing. Another popular YouTube duo, known for exploring haunted places, also gave the midnight game a shot on camera. They later described it as one of the most nerve-wracking experiences they'd ever filmed. They didn't encounter ghosts per se, but they mentioned the psychological pressure of the ritual was extreme. The act of inviting something in and then wandering in darkness, waiting for it to show itself, messes with your mind. At one point, one of them thought he saw a figure and got so spooked he ran straight into a wall giving himself a bruise. Whether or not anything supernatural was there, the fear was very real for them. Finally, it's worth mentioning a more extreme tale that's been passed around online, often as a kind of campfire story, which shows what the worst case scenario of the midnight game might look like. The story is likely fictional or exaggerated, but it has been shared enough to become part of Midnight Man lore. The story goes that a group of 4 teenagers decided to film their midnight game experience as a series of videotapes. This is sometimes called the Midnight Man Challenge story. Initially, like many, they experienced minor phenomena: candles going out, cold spots, a fleeting glimpse of a silhouette here or there. One by one, they end up breaking the rules. One boy's candle keeps going out and he sits in a circle and quits. Another girl inadvertently taunts the Midnight Man by making fun of the others. One guy leaves the safe circle to use the bathroom. Another even falls asleep out of exhaustion. These are all big no-nos. The climax of the tale has the last remaining girl, who followed all the rules, reach 3:33 a.m, thinking she's survived. She flips on the lights, only to discover her 3 friends lying dead, their bodies gruesomely torn apart. The entity had apparently punished the whole group for the transgressions of a few. The final videotape supposedly ends with the girl dropping the camera and screaming as a shadowy figure advances towards her. Now, let me be clear. There's no verification that this actually happened. This reads like a scripted story, and indeed mirrors the plot of the 2013 Midnight Game film in some ways. But the reason I bring it up is because tales like this circulate as warnings. They're the modern equivalent of saying, if you're not careful, the bogeyman will get you. It amplifies the fear surrounding the ritual and perhaps discourages them from trying it at all. So the legend continues to feed itself. A spooky game that could actually kill you or drive you insane, or at the very least scare you more than anything else in your life.
This holiday, Verizon is giving you incredible gifts and savings you'll enjoy all year. When you switch, you'll get 4 new iPhone 17 Pros. No trade-in needed. That's right. Get 4 lines for just $25 a line and the amazing iPhone 17 Pro for everyone. Save big this holiday. Visit Verizon today. $20 monthly promo credits applied to account over 35 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah?
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This really freaked me out because I can imagine trying to do this and something happening. I really can. I can imagine being a teenager, or actually, I must admit, my age now, and getting a group of friends round to try it out and getting really, really frightened. But I can't bring myself to say any of the words properly because I'm just too worried that something might happen. Let me know if you've tried this or if you've got any stories. I'd love to hear them. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
This holiday, Verizon is giving you incredible gifts and savings you'll enjoy all year. When you switch, you'll get 4 new iPhone 17 Pros, no trade-in needed. That's right, get 4 lines for just $25 a line and the amazing iPhone 17 Pro for everyone. Save big this holiday. Visit Verizon today. $20 monthly promo credits applied to account over 35 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Big news! Boost Mobile is now sending experts nationwide to deliver and set up customers' new phones at home or work.
Wait, we're going on tour?
Not a tour. We're delivering and setting up customers' phones so it's easier to upgrade.
Let's get in the tour bus and hit the road.
No, not a tour bus. It's a regular car we use to deliver and set up customers' phones at home or work.
Are you a groupie on this tour?
We deliver and set up phones. It's not a tour.
Oh, you're definitely a groupie.
Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery wherever you're at.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at EmpowerOurFutureCoalition.com.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.